even though you've never seen my face. Ah, nothing could make a great mage more pleased with herself.
Ding dong, the sinner is dead. Well, kinda. Being painfully torn apart isn't necessarily death, right? Either way, welcome to Nodcry Act 5 review, where we will physically be introduced to the Hexen Circle, and Durin is interacting with Hyperborean space-time phantoms. Okay, and all I see in my notes for this act is cinema. As much as I wished that they didn't reveal Alice during the Song of the Welcome Moon teaser, Alice's introduction into the quest is absolutely glorious. Her meta jokes always hit, whether it was her joking about being the final boss, her adjusting the camera for her introduction, or the in the last episode moments. She is just a joy to watch, especially when she starts talking about Tevat's lore, because even she knows that the Heavenly Principles would target her, but she just doesn't care. Interestingly enough, she did place herself in charge of Tevat's borders, which now makes more sense why she immediately greeted Skirk upon Skirk's arrival in Tevat. It was also very frightening to get confirmation that the Abyss has taken over everywhere outside of Tevat, and Skirk's story quest heavily implied this, so to have it actually be real is frightening. On a lighter note, it is funny to think that she is doing all of this for Klee. After our discussion with Alice and seeing how Natlan concluded, it's very clear that the Heavenly Principles is active. So everything we have seen so far in this game is within an acceptable range for the Heavenly Principles not to intervene. And as if it couldn't get any better, we meet Nicole. Once again, not a big surprise because of the teaser, but this silent angel is neither silent. Well, actually, she is definitely an angel. I didn't see the word angel. Did I just go skip it? All right, I have to be honest, okay? You know what? You're right. I did read the word angel and did not connect it to Genshin lore. And the reason is because I was so enamored by Nicole's beauty that I was just like, yeah, of course she's an angel. Look how beautiful she is. The way she gets lost in her love of history is so wonderful. I love that the writers troll us by having everyone basically make fun of her by either summarizing what she said or just telling her like, hey, we'll talk about that later. And I also just love that we get this glimpse of her competitiveness, because as she is sending Kuvaki through the Traveler to see if we can survive opening the gate to send Columbina home, she notices that actually the amount of Kuvaki she's sending through us isn't bothering us, and she's getting more and more annoyed at how good we are. It's just this wonderful moment of like, here is a character that is just... Unlike Alice, who feels like Alice is in control of everything, Nicole is like, I am not in control at all, but it's wonderful to see. Now, as excited I was to see two members of the Hexen Circle in physical embodiment, Columbina is just too weak to maintain her own physical form and disappears. Although I don't think Hoyoverse would kill her, this is still very emotional, seeing someone not being able to accomplish their goals. We begin to notice how much times have changed since she secluded herself from the world. We see how she could have interacted with her friends differently. We also see how much her disappearance is affecting her friends. We get this really heartbreaking moment where Columbina reaches out to the Traveler and we just pass through her. It was so sad, but then to get the moment where the Traveler senses her, turns around and goes, Columbina, and calls out to her. And this moment, the reaction of Columbina, having this sadness of like, even the Traveler can't see me, to the Traveler recognizes me. We see the smile on Columbina's face, and then she begins to follow the Traveler. It's just this wonderful moment, and I am so thrilled and excited to finally get Columbina back. But we must wait, because there is an overarching situation occurring that concerns Albedo, Durin, Scaramouche, aka the Wanderer, aka Akai, aka a good boy. The Moon Prayer Night is about to happen, and it's when Tevat and the real Frost Moon are the closest to each other. And it's also our chance to send Columbina back to the moon. However, the twist about this festival is that human and abyssal phantoms are appearing from the era of Hyperborea in Nodcry. This revelation is absolutely insane because of the way this was introduced by just showing us the phantom of our spaceship. Like, that is such a cool reveal to be like, hey man, you want to know what these phantoms are? Here's the phantom of your freaking spaceship. It's so cool. I also love the investigation work we got to go through with Durin, Albedo, and Hat Guy. Because in this moment, Durin is feeling this sense of dread and sadness for seeing these people in the past being killed by these Rift Wolves. And so he is desperately wanting to change the outcome and the fate of these phantoms, and he does it. He begins to learn how to manipulate the past, essentially, to the point where one of them, there's a phantom who is trying to find his daughter. It's this very sad moment because we're like making sure that he just doesn't die. There are so many routes where he is dying to look for his daughter, and we just fail time after time. And at a point, he begins to remember how many times we had to repeat this quest. It is such an awesome way of incorporating failure in this game. Absolutely incredible. But then it turns into this like really touching and sad moment because when the phantom begins to realize that his entire purpose here is to look for his daughter until he dies, and he will never get an answer to finding his daughter, he kind of gives in to fate. And he's like, you know what? Can we just spend time together and let us get to know each other? At least I want the end of my life to be good. And so we have this like really honest and amazing conversation with a Hyperborean. And I love that he's just dropping this lore of like, oh, have you been to this town? Have you been to this city? And we're like, what the hell? I've never heard of that before. Though a really cool thing was when Albedo was like, I recognize that name from Stone Tablets and Dragonspine. And I hope we get to learn more about this lore. And yes, I'm sure there are a bunch of books that describe this thousands of year lore, but man, I'm just so happy to get to see this in an Archon quest. It's so cool. And this quest ends on an extremely somber moment of sitting by the campfire, telling stories about the past, and the man getting up and deciding to spend the last couple of minutes of his life searching for his daughter, knowing full well that he'll never find her. Also, Dottore is still MIA, but finally does the Archon quest begin to acknowledge that he hasn't been around. I love that we get this wonderful moment where the Hat Guy and the Marionette are bonding over their hatred of Dottore. But because Hat Guy wiped himself off the Immersal tree, no one remembers Hat Guy. So Arlecchino and Marionette are like, how do you know this? It's just a wonderful moment. But hey, you know what? The Tsaritsa requested Dottore to return to Snezhnaya, so there's nothing to worry about, right? All right. See you all next time for more Genshin Impact. Huge thank you to the generous Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube members for supporting the channel. And for those of you gifting memberships to the community, thank you. I'll see you next time for some more Genshin Impact. Bye. Also, let me know what you guys think of this new format of just not being on camera. I may try to add some bit more extra visual flair in terms of like a cartoon representation of myself, but let me know what you all think in the comments about this new format, or if you prefer to just see my face occasionally, or if you're like, actually, I kind of want more gameplay, but still want your face for certain moments. Let me know. I'm all ears. Okay, bye.